first and then consequences of it afterwards. I have to do it the other way around, so we get the consequences first. And let's hope that works out. So, you all know that everybody talk about stress. I'm stressed. Oh, he was so stressed. Oh, that was so stressful. But people don't really know what it is. And it's important that we understand it's a physiological thing. It's not a fabulous psychic thing or anything. It's just a physiological thing happening in the body. And it is there to help us survive. It's a survival thing. If something happens that can be dangerous to us, some situation we need to get out of or do something about, the brain starts working right away on sending message to the adrenaline gland, produce adrenaline to help this person move faster, go more in defense, do something about it. You don't even have to think about it. It happens in your body without you wanting it or not. So, for instance, you are sitting out in the garden having a lovely tea and enjoying yourself, and all of a sudden it starts to rain a lot. And you immediately, as soon as the rain comes down, the eyes seeing the rain, the ears hearing the rain, everything sends a message to the brain via fast track, really fast. So the moment it happens, the brain is already working on it. The brain is your main office. The brain is steering your body. All the physiological things, your emotions, everything is steered by your main office. Just leave it to the main office. It is much more clever than you are. So just let the brain work on it. And it sends a message to the part of the body that needs it. And when the rain comes down, you produce immediately adrenaline, so you can get more muscle force to run away, get inside. If it's been an attacker, you might need to fight back, but you get more muscle force. You can run faster, you can lift more heavy weights, you have more muscle force at all. That's what adrenaline does at that moment. That very moment. So, in that case, it's a survival thing. It helps us get away from things, kick back. In the old days, I used to read stories in Reader's Digest, you might know about it. And there were all these silly, sentimental stories there. And one of them I remember very well. It was little old Auntie Agatha had been out driving with her little nephew, and the car went around somersaulting or something, and he was under the car. She got out of the car, and he was under the car. And little frail Agatha, with no muscles at all, she managed to lift the car and get the nephew out. And then she tells everybody, the journalist and everybody afterwards, that I got help from God. No, she didn't. She got help from adrenaline. Because she got so much more power to do it, because she was afraid. So when you get stressed because you are afraid or excited or anything unusual happens, you get more adrenaline going out in your muscles, and that means you feel like you have to move, you have to do something. When you get stressed, you can't sit still. You can't relax. Agree? Mm-hmm. Dogs cannot either. So when your dog is stressed and you order the dog to stay, you are really not very nice to that dog. The cat, they are bubbling inside, they are itching inside because of all the adrenaline in their muscles. You can't expect them to be calm, and you cannot command the production of adrenaline, how the brain is working, and everything that goes on physiologically. You can't do that. You cannot command physiological things in your body. And if you think you can, okay, I think you should have a little talk with my psychologist, because then you think you're more like a god than anything else. That's not correct at all. And if you ever come across a trainer who says that, oh, I can just command my dog and he will be calm, then you know that he is a complete moron. Because it's not possible. That's why we have the pulse measuring project of Agnes. She can show you how it really works. So, we have stress levels to make us do things, to make us survive, to make us get out of situations, to survive. Yes, that's right. The human being and also dogs were designed many years ago by nature. And we were designed for the circumstances and the environment we had then, which meant people lived quite calmly. They didn't do much, maybe for a week, maybe for most of the week. Once in a while, they had to get up and fight enemies. Once in a while, they went hunting to get food. And if they hunted a big game, they didn't have to do hunting for the next week. They had food for a long time, and so they didn't do anything. That made them keep their stress levels moderate all the time. Stress once in a while, like hunting for food, fighting back enemies, okay, if you have time to recover afterwards. Then the body will get the balance back and everything's okay. If you do this hunting and fighting every day, you will get a chronic stress level, and it will stay chronic all the time. As long as you do the hunting, you feel okay. It's not okay, but you feel okay because you move your muscles and do something. If you sit down, you start, which means your stress level is chronic and too high. People who do things with their dogs, they do a big mistake here, because if they had taken a dog for a long walk, he's calm afterwards, yes. But his production of adrenaline is sky high, because they have to produce adrenaline to be able to do the long walk. And the effects of that walk and the effects of production of adrenaline stays on and on and on. So if you do it every day, the stress level is up there all the time. For after a really heavy physical thing they do, it takes at least 2 days to get the effects down. You need to get a balance in the dog's lives. Otherwise you have a chronically stressed dog. You know, I know how it works because I've been there, done it, felt it. I was a training idiot when I was young. train a holic or what you can call it. Absolutely nuts. And then I injured my leg and I had to walk with, you know, this plaster around it for nearly a year. And I tell you exactly how it works. I couldn't train anymore. And you know something? It felt like there were ants inside my skin the whole time. I nearly got crazy. It was so horrible. And it took months and months to get away from it. I will never get to that point again, ever. So I have worked to try to find a balance in my life, and I have. I was scared of flying, so I got a sky-high stress level every time I was flying, but I was sure I had a whole week afterwards to recover. That's the kind of balance you need to find in your lives. And you have to find that balance in your dogs' lives, because you are stressing your dogs. Dogs themselves wouldn't do that. They are really good at having a balance, if you just let them. We have to think about what we're doing. If you do something, a lot of activity one day, you shouldn't do any of that the next 2 days. They need to get down and get a lower level. My old teacher at the instructor school, he was actually a very good vet. And he said once that if you have to stress up your dogs, do it no more than maximum 2 times a week. So they have a chance of getting down in stress in between. And that's correct. I've seen it on dogs.